This is another New Black World Order TV Productions. Uh-huh. Chopper. Grand Rising family, what's happening? So we're talking about those mistakes that was made, right, in the first wave, right? We're talking about the herd, right? The constituency, the citizens of America, the voters, right? We're talking about first things first and last things last. So let's get it in. The waves of the COVID-19 infection, right, sent in by the international boys on Boris and Trump is ultimately to affect their narrative of nationalism. But Trump wants to do damage control. He's trying to manage, right, what happened first. Wuhan, the release of a weaponized version by international boys who money is much bigger than Trump. And these nationalistic boys, right? These country conservative boys who think that they can box with the heavy hitters. So let's get it in. The mistakes that was made in the first wave or the first infection was done intentionally by Trump. Because remember, on my blog talk show with Lady CEO, yeah, Zay, what up? You know what I'm saying? Shouts out, right, to Legacy Radio. I see y'all later on today, right? We're going to do that second part because we're going to talk about that political part. And this is what I'm talking about now, right? The delay of Trump is intentional, right? I don't know what young Pharaoh see, but I'm going to tell you what I see. And I respect his position and his demonstration on his perspective, but I want to show you a different angle. So let's do it. Trump intentionally allows, right, the infection to come into America, right, because he's trying to do damage control, like I said, right? So he's doing the playbook because history repeats itself. And history is more than qualified to reward the one who does the research. Only the fools fall to the follies of history because they have not researched it. So let's get it in. If Trump wants to be in office another 4 years, right, and he lets this, right, pandemic, right, this coronal mass injection of viral infection, right, come into his magnetosphere, right, his sphere of influence, right, he know he couldn't stop it, but he lets it go in. He gives you a false sense of security, right, to take you off guard, right? And he does not implement mitigations, right, at the proper time because he wants to impact the November elections. See, remember, right, with the powers that have been granted to him via of his so-called mistakes, but they're intentional. Right? Because he knows that the international boys sent the virus in that was going to ultimately take it back from a nationalistic narrative to a global perspective. A virus without borders equals doctors without borders and prescriptions of healing or treating this situation without borders, right? That's why you see a worldwide lockdown. This is suggested by the doctors without borders. Trump, you're fucking with some big boys here, and I see you trying to manage the situation, and I see the way you're trying to go. Remember, I say this is like a movie, and you got to figure out what's the next episode. So in this first wave, or this first infection, those intentional mistakes were done to impact the November elections. Now let's take a look. If the first wave come in, right, that sets the platform for a second wave. Then what's that platform for? That platform is for reinfection, chaos. See, these boys deal with chaos. The bigger boys that Trump are fighting are dealing with chaos. And Trump is trying to manage the chaos by issuing out more waves of chaos. We're talking about the information that's hidden right in plain sight. So, if the herd becomes infected, then it becomes reinfected, right, by these so-called mistakes in the first wave. It sets the platform for reinfection, right, and for Trump to clamp down on more mitigation since you say he made mistakes in the first wave. So in the second wave, which is a second wave of infections or reinfections, right? Both of them, infections, reinfections. Well, if 10 or more people can't gather in a group and you're going to have to separate 6 feet apart, it's going to be a long-ass line in November. Or will the order or the solution to the problem come out of the chaos that you got to do this over line? Now, I thought you Democrats told me, right, that the herd was duped in the elections the first time because the Russians helped trick up the numbers on the computer. So if we're going to go to mail-in votes and we're going to go into computer votes rather than standing in line, right? Or are you going to force your people to stand in line in this second wave or this second reinfection or infection to set the platform for a third wave? This is the information that's hidden right in plain sight.